What you're about to hear is the kind of revelation that shakes an entire inquiry to its core, a moment where a witness, placed under oath and under intense national scrutiny, finally snaps back at the swirling rumors and says, "Enough." Viewers, tell me in the comments, do you believe people only meet 3 times in politics and security circles without forming deeper ties, or is that just a convenient line used when pressure increases? Because today, Vusimuzi cat, Matlala has dropped a clarification that is already igniting debates across the country. From the moment Matlala took the stand, the tension in the room shifted. You could almost feel committee members lean forward, waiting for him to either dodge questions or reveal more than he intended. But instead, he struck a tone that was both defensive and defiant, declaring that the claims surrounding his relationship with Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya have been blown completely out of proportion. He wanted it known, loudly and firmly, that he has only met the senior police official 3 times in his life. His words weren't casual, and they weren't hesitant. They were meant to cut through speculation that he believes has followed him unfairly for years. But ask yourself, does this kind of clarification settle anything, or does it raise even more suspicion? Comment below if you think the number of meetings even matters when money, power, and influence are being examined. Matlala stressed that none of those 3 encounters involved friendships, favors, or behind-the-scenes dealings. According to him, the meetings were short, professional, and strictly tied to broader security-related topics. Nothing about tenders, nothing about investigations, nothing about SAPS operations. But viewers, have we not heard officials use the words strictly professional far too many times before? As investigators probed deeper, trying to get a clearer picture of how these interactions fit into the much larger web of allegations surrounding Matlala, he repeatedly insisted that his conduct has always been above board. He said his name only appears near powerful individuals because the industries he works in naturally overlap with law enforcement structures. But does that explanation satisfy you? Or does it feel like a polished answer crafted for hearings like these? What's striking is not just what Matlala said, but how he said it. With each question, he pushed back against the idea that he enjoyed any behind-the-scenes advantage through Sibiya or anyone else. He remained firm, almost irritated, that he even had to clarify such things. It was as if he believed the narrative around him had become a monster created by whispers, articles, and political chess games. Do you think public perception can destroy someone long before evidence does? Committee members didn't back off. They pressed him to describe the context of each meeting, wanting to know who was in the room, what was discussed, who invited whom. And yet, every time, Matlala kept circling back to the same point. The meetings were formal, procedural, and brief. But viewers in high-level circles, are meetings ever truly just meetings, or do they carry hidden weight? General Sibiya, whose name has now been pulled directly into the center of this inquiry, has stayed quiet publicly. Silence can be strategic, but whose strategy is it? Is it Sibiya's, SAPS, or simply the calm before an oncoming storm of statements and counter-statements? Tell me, do you think Sibiya should respond immediately, or wait until the committee officially calls him in? Matlala's testimony became more than just clarifying interactions. It opened a broader discussion about transparency, accountability, and how the lines between business, security, and politics often blur. He suggested that assumptions about him have been shaped by speculation rather than facts. But when accusations, rumors, and powerful positions collide, can anything truly be taken at face value? As the questioning grew sharper, Matlala held on to his core message. He has nothing to hide. He urged the committee to rely on documented evidence instead of narratives. But viewers, in your opinion, does no wrongdoing found yet mean innocent? Or does it sometimes just mean not enough uncovered? He also hinted that he has repeatedly been linked to people simply because they operate in the same noisy, high-stakes environment, a world where names circulate quickly and reputations can rise or crumble overnight. If you've ever been judged by association, comment yes below. Politicians and business figures often argue this point, but in your view, is shared proximity enough to raise suspicion? Throughout the hearing, the tension between Matlala and some committee members was barely concealed. They wanted precision. He wanted fairness. They pushed. He resisted. They probed for inconsistencies. He fought to keep the narrative narrow. And every viewer watching could sense that what wasn't being said might be louder than what was. The committee made it clear that this clarification, these alleged 3 meetings, will form part of the official record. It might seem like a small detail, but in inquiries like this, the smallest detail can shift entire outcomes. Do you think limiting the number of meetings was a strategy to protect himself, or simply the truth? As Matlala continued, he painted himself as someone caught in the crossfire of political storms he didn't create. He portrayed a world where honest people get tangled in dangerous stories simply because of where they work or who they happen to meet. But is that believable in a sector where influence often determines survival? The broader investigation is far from over. The committee still plans to question him on the operations of his companies, the contracts his businesses received, and the full extent of his interactions with other senior officials. And if there is one thing that seemed obvious, it's this. The deeper the committee digs, the more uncomfortable these hearings become. Observers in the room noted that Matlala seemed determined to distance himself from anyone who could compromise his image. He refused to be tied to Sibiya, refused the idea of informal communication, and refused any hint of impropriety. But sometimes, refusing too strongly creates more noise than silence. Do you think his tone helped him or hurt him? As the session went on, the atmosphere changed. It stopped being a simple clarification and started becoming a defensive stand, a line drawn in the sand. Matlala demanded that his 3 meetings be understood exactly as he described them. Nothing more, nothing less. Yet scandals and inquiries rarely operate on such clean, flat terms. Now, as South Africans watch this investigation unfold, a simple question lingers. What is the truth behind these meetings with General Sibiya, and why does the number matter so much? Comment below whether you think clarity is finally emerging, or if this is just the beginning of something far more explosive. Because in inquiries like these, the truth doesn't come out all at once. It slips out one testimony at a time, one denial at a time, one clarification at a time. And sometimes, the smallest detail, like 3 meetings, becomes the spark that lights the entire fuse. So before you go, tell me this in the comments. Do you think Matlala's testimony helped him, or did it open new questions he wasn't prepared for? And most importantly, do you believe the committee will uncover the full truth, or will politics bury it before it ever sees daylight?